Hey, welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. I believe it's the 8th. It's Thursday. It's 2026. And I wrote out a check today that said 2026. Usually it takes me 2 weeks. Got that going for me. And in case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. We will do the markets. We'll do the economy. We'll do jobs, your job, your industry. We'll do taxes and deficit and spending and scams and shams, corruptions, and a crap load of lies emanating from D.C. right now. We'll do changes in the market because we have a couple of things we want to tell you today. One of them, I don't think we've said it in ages. And whatever else comes to mind, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we fly up to New York. Hopefully Delta is on their game. By the way, I love Delta Airlines. I think they're the best domestic airline now. I think easily. JetBlue I used to like better, but they get you there safe, but they need some work these days. Anyway. And no, I won't fly Spirit anymore. Flown it twice, and I'm telling you, they need some work. All right. If you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. By the way, we'll also post it on the BizTV YouTube channel and other podcast apps. Let me get a few things out of the way. Because... you know, we do a show on you and everything that affects you, and it's mostly markets, the economy and stuff, but we are broad-based. We have to be broad-based, and because we're broad-based, we get a lot of emails on certain things, and I got a lot of emails on the tragedy that happened in Minnesota last night, and I get asked, why would that affect you? And it really does matter. You don't think it matters? If there's major disturbances and protests and... well, let me tell you how I think, so you have an understanding. First off, it's a tragedy. Any way, shape, or form. So about 2 months ago, I was driving down this road where I live, and it's pretty much one of the top speed traps in all of Central Florida. And I know that. And the road is 35, and it turns into 25 miles per hour. And a police officer stopped me. Do you know what the first thing I do when I see the police officer behind me and the lights on, knowing that he wants to stop me? Let me tell you what I do. First off, you stop. There are two things I do. I open my window, and then I put my hands on the steering wheel for the police officer to see, so he knows I am not a risk. Those are the two things I do. Why do I do that? Because I know that every time that police officer stops somebody, he is at risk of stopping a bad guy. I've never understood people putting themselves in harm's way, potential harm's way, by doing what this woman did yesterday. Let her rest in peace. She did not respect authority. This does not happen. This tragedy does not happen if she respected authority. And ICE is an authority. Take it or leave it. That's that. There's no gray area. They're an authority. And if they tell you to get your ass out of the way, you're supposed to get your ass out of the way. You're not supposed to be there. You're not supposed to be blocking. You're not supposed to be blocking traffic. You're not supposed to. None of this happens if she just respected authority. That's it. That's it. The second part of the equation. You think this officer wanted to shoot somebody? Hell no. Hell no. You think he wants to be put in that position? Hell no. Now, you can take the video for what it's worth, and of course, a certain side says one thing, a certain side says another thing. But nobody was there at that time. And I repeat, this doesn't happen if she respected authority. You know what's famous on Instagram now? Just so you know, I go on Instagram for food and travel and others that do these workouts. But on Instagram, they push things to you. And if you click on one, you get 50 of them. And you know what I did? I clicked on one, and you know what it was? Somebody who was stopped, traffic stop, and argued and threatened and didn't do this, that, and the other thing, and they ended up being arrested. And all of a sudden there's a zillion of them. And I'm thinking to myself, all you have to do is respect authority. And that is your police officers, immigration enforcement, firemen and women if there's a trouble that way. If the FBI shows up at your door, God forbid that happens. Do you get my point? We can go back and forth 100 times. But we now have a tragedy that did not have to happen. And of course, you got a bunch of schmucks on the left calling it murder. You think this police officer or immigration officer, ICE, whatever, wanted to be in that position? Hell no. Anyway, as usual, it's going to be left, right, left. But the bottom line, that doesn't happen if she just respected authority. I have taught my sons from day one to respect authority, regardless whether you think they're right or wrong. And in that case, when you're a student, that would be your teachers also. What a concept, huh? Just a little bit of logic. And you know what? This woman's wife blamed herself. I sent her in there. That's a story. Anyway, just a tragedy. And notice I'm not taking a side on ICE or not. As you know, I am for a strong border. I am for deporting criminals. As you know, I've said to you, I am not for how they've been doing some of these things. But who gives a crap what I think? Anyway, that's number one. Number two, let me read this. We may run Venezuela for years. That's President Trump. My message to all of you who voted for him because George Bush and Dick Cheney are neocons, warmongers, want to take over other countries. How dare they? I am not a neocon. I am not a nation builder. I am not going to go into any... You've been conned. And if you like what he did when you voted for him for the opposite, hey, what can I tell you? Just letting you know. I'm completely against us running Venezuela. It's a bunch of bullcrap. We should not have any of Venezuela's oil. We should be out of there and have no say in the matter. The man who won 70% of the last election should be in there running the joint. We should not have any say. And let me just finish with this. Write this down, because I'm Mr. Logic. There are going to be repercussions from this if we do this. That's all. Why? Because there are bad actors around the globe that are going to look at it and said, oh, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. Wait till you see what we're going to do. Up next, the markets. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. And let me finish with this. I watched a bunch of bullcrap artists on TV today fall in line behind the president. And frankly, I can't blame them because they've got to keep their place in the pecking order. But they're bullcrap artists. Because I know exactly who was for what and was against what. I am rooting for him. I hope it works out. Donald Trump is a neocon. Donald Trump is an interferer with other countries. I hope it works out. His whole campaign, 75% was a bunch of bullcrap. We move on. And don't email me, okay? You know I'm right. Miami is playing Mississippi tonight. Semifinal. NCAAs. Miami's -3. Over under 52. Small. Miami in the over. Don't have the greatest of feel. We like Miami in the over. If you can't afford to lose, don't gamble. Call that number. I'm like DraftKings or whatever the hell it's called. Anyway, it's big football weekend. Looking forward to it. And I think tomorrow it's who? Indiana and... Who's Indiana? Man, come on, Gary. Oregon. Indiana looks like a team of destiny this year. We'll see. Still got to win the games. And then we have, what do we have this weekend? We have NFL games. I have not really looked at them yet. We'll be doing the show tomorrow, but I haven't really looked at them yet. Rams at Carolina, Green Bay, Chicago, Buffalo, Wow, look at all these games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Houston at Pittsburgh, Chargers at New England, San Fran at Philly, Buffalo at Jacksonville, Green Bay at Chicago. I'll have to think about it. We'll be doing the show tomorrow from New York City, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I'm not sure what hour. I'm either on noon or 1 o'clock Fox Business Network tomorrow. Check that out. Okay. I don't know how many months it has been, and we have said to you, avoid most of the oil stocks. We have said to you from time to time, hey, there's a few oil stocks that are strong, but most are not. Now, this Venezuela thing's going on right now, and you never know what the big outcome's going to be, and we're told if we're going to have a lot more oil prices have to come down. That's what we're told. Well, when you have a chance, go look at the refiners, VLO. I wrote down some symbols. I put them somewhere, and I don't know where I put them. HAL, SLB, NOV, WFRD. Today will be the first day that we can say to you, we're going to maybe actively do some things in oils. Doesn't mean we're going to, but today is the first day. It feels like something's up, and it could be the Venezuela thing. I don't know. Cause and effect. So just letting you know, we don't know outcome. It's going to be fluid, but I also think there is a component that it is a commodity, and commodity stocks have done pretty damn well. So we're just starting out letting you know, when you have a chance, look at the ETF, the OIH, at a 1-year high. We do want to remind you, it has done nothing. Just so you know, the OIH, back in 01 was at 638. It's at 315 right now. No, not kidding. But we're dealing with 1 year. The XLEs, the big oil, not as strong. The XOP, not as strong as the XLE. But the refiners, drillers, services, that's the place that's showing the most strength right now. The news is going to be fluid, and that is an issue. Who knows what's going to come from it? Don't know. The king is taking over. King Trump. What next? Remember the Seinfeld episode, Risk? When he's on the train with Newman? I'm going to take over the Ukraine, and the guy from Ukraine, you're not taking over Ukraine. Anyway, we really do hope it works out. We're not rooting against him. We're disagreeing with him, if that's okay with you. So we start with oils. Next, just letting you know, today was very much a value day versus growth, and an equal weighted day versus not. What does that mean? Well, equal weighted, if there's 500 stocks in the S&P, each is worth 0.2%. 500 times 0.2 equals 100. If I got my abacus correctly. But you have 8 stocks that are over 30% of the S&P. And those 8 stocks, 6 of them act like crap. Very much holding things down. So for starters, just letting you know, the equal weight had a much better day than the S&P, which was actually down today. The S&P was up 50 cents on a Dow 270. But the equal weight, much better. Up next, we'll expound. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, in that vein, top 8, Broadcom down 11 today. Top 8, Apple down over $1, though it was down over $4. Top 8, Microsoft down 5 and change. Top 8, Meta was down about 3, though it was down, I think Meta was down like 11 early today. Yes, it was. Top 8, number 1, Nvidia, down $4 today, and actually a little bit below the 50-day moving average. It'll probably get saved tomorrow, because I don't think they're going to let Nvidia break below the 50-day moving average. What do you mean, Gary, let? The institutions watch this crap, kids. Why do you think these moving averages work? We'll see what tomorrow brings. Anyway, those drops hurt the S&P versus the equal weight. Because the equal weight, we have this one screen that is what we call our stuff screen. Number 1. What have we been telling you about food, beverage, tobacco, household products, and alcohol? Avoid. And brutal bearish action for months and months and months and months. They had a great day today. Still what I would call in bear markets, except, by the way, Monster Beverage is on that list. But they had a really good day today. Other areas of the market, housing and housing related, have been acting terribly. They had a great day today. The ETF for housing was up 4% today. There's two of them. 4% and almost 4%. Still in downtrends, but a really good day today. Now, does that have anything to do with the president coming out yesterday and talking about institutions? And I don't know. I don't care. But that was part of the stuff screen. Transports ain't doing nothing wrong. They ain't doing nothing wrong. And I noticed today the rails, which have been on the weaker side and actually had a bad day yesterday, got it right back today. That's part of that screen. Deere, up $25 today. Earnings only down 60, 22, 24, and 14. And the stock has done nothing for a long while. But it was up $25 today. Caterpillar up 11 in the Dow, after being down 26 yesterday. That's part of it. The hotels. Hilton, right at the highs. Marriott, right at the highs. Hyatt, right at the highs. That area. Retail, very strong today on a relative basis. Costco was up 32, though it was up 50. They had the December numbers. I still think its valuation's too tricky, and we told you that a year ago. I mentioned the oils, now defense stocks. They were jammed up early, and we just told our peeps, don't be buying that stuff. Lockheed Martin today, in the morning, hit 543, closed at 518. Northrop Grumman was at 639, closed at 590. I'll explain in a second. General Dynamics was at 368, closed at 351. L3 Harris, 337, closed at 325. What was the story? The president came out on one of his tweets and said, I'd like to spend $1.5 trillion on defense instead of $1 trillion, which reversed the bad action in the defense stocks yesterday. But there was no way I was buying this, and here's why. There's no way 1.5 trillion's getting passed. No way. Impossible. First off, there's every chance that the Marxist Party is going to win the House. They ain't going to let that through. But let me tell you my thought. Insane. Ladies and gentlemen, in the year 2000, our whole federal spending was $1.8 trillion. You mean to tell me we need to spend $1.5 trillion on defense? In the year 2000, I think we spent $300 billion and did a damn good job. We need to spend $1.5 trillion? That's bull crap. And as you know, there's nobody louder on defending the country than I. But stop. Go look at all the other countries and what they spend. And he's asking for $1.5 trillion. A, we don't have the bucks. B, ain't happening. I think $1 trillion's enough. And by the way, I believe the Pentagon has failed how many audits? And we're just going to give them more? Anyway, they sold off today. Auto dealers were up today. GM and Ford up today. Insurance, nice. The economically sensitive names, not all. Good day today. Restaurants, what area have been telling you to avoid for a while? We're up today. I think there's one stock that's strong. Dine Brands, which is IHOP, and Applebee's. After my prom at North Miami Beach Senior High, guess where we went? IHOP. I loved IHOP. Haven't been there in a long while, though. That's where we went to IHOP in North Miami Beach. That's a strong restaurant stock. I'm not touching it. Do you know why? Earnings down 38, earnings down 23, earnings down 32, and earnings down 49. So why is it up at new yearly highs? I have no clue. Or maybe due to the fact the stock was at $99 3 years ago and it's 36 today, and it's just trying to get back some of that. I didn't realize that Dine Brands was $99 in 21. By the way, Dine Brands stock in the year 2004 is right where it's trading now. Jeez. Boy, there's a lot of companies, no gains over 20 years. While I'm at it, where's Cracker Barrel? Cracker Barrel in 04 was 33, it's now 30. They should have me run Cracker Barrel. I can fix that up. Big time. They lost their way. And by the way, insiders are selling down at the lows. Beats the hell out of me why. That's weird. So restaurants, financials, decent day, not all. You had some bounces. Blackstone was up a couple today after getting hit off of the talk about the real estate. BlackRock was up 12 today, but needs work. And by the way, it's $1,000 name. Goldman down 6, but JP Morgan up 3, so a little mixed bag there. Just it's a weird moving day today, but much value-oriented with a lot of news-driven stuff. The president's been all over defense stocks on the negative side and then on the potentially positive side. He was against the institutions buying houses. I don't think that's ever going to pass. And by the way, we're finding that the number of houses these institutions own is infinitesimal compared to their businesses. So you find out little things after the fact. And I'm also thinking, if you stop institutions from buying homes, aren't you stopping demand for homes? Just some things that went through my mind, because I'm pretty sure I know Economics 101. I'm pretty sure I know Economics 101. Not a genius, but I'm pretty sure I know Economics 101. You stop demand. Hey, up next, this, that, and the other thing. Oh yeah, California. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So, let's compare and contrast. I am in the beautiful state of Florida, and the governor, Ron DeSantis, is trying to put on a ballot for, I believe, this year, no real estate taxes. I don't think it's going to pass. But think about this, no real estate taxes. I used to pay, because I'm in the midst of moving, I'm renting right now, I used to pay, $13,000 a year in real estate taxes. No real estate taxes. More money in a homeowner's pocket. Now, there's an issue with Florida because the real estate taxes, there's no state tax, pays for things, schools and upgrades of roads and streets and stuff. I don't think it's going to pass, but at least it's been thought about. And then you have the beautiful state of California run by morons. run by imbeciles, run by doofuses, run by people that are economically illiterate, that don't have the foggiest idea about people, especially the people that produce the most for that state. And what do we mean by that? Well, think about this. I live in California. I make $100,000 a year. My state I'm just coming up with a number. My state tax is $3,000 to the state. And then there's somebody who makes $10 million. My state tax is going to be $150,000, $130,000. So one person pays $2,000 or $3,000, the other one pays $150,000, but they both use the same amount of state whatever. So why would somebody pay more than the next? You get my point? But taxes are progressive. The more you make, the more you pay. Okie dokie. Understood. So it's not bad enough that I believe California has the highest state tax out there. By far. And it's bad enough that the morons, doofuses, and imbeciles in California have seen others try wealth taxes and all failed. Norway tried one, and anybody who was supposed to pay the wealth taxes left Norway, and instead of collecting, what was they trying to get, 150 million extra bucks, they lost 500 million. But don't let that stop the morons, doofuses, and imbeciles of California. They're trying to put in a 5% wealth tax, but only for those bad billionaires. You know, the ones that pay the most taxes in the state? The ones you need to help out the state? That's still running massive deficits, even though there's like a 13% state tax. While here in Florida, we're running a surplus with no tax. So they want to do a 5% wealth tax on a billionaire. What is our line? What's our motto we told you? Well, you start with the two most important words. If able. If able, people, money, business, and capital will flow to where they're treated best. If able, people, capital, business will get the hell out of a state that disrespects you. So what has already happened? 6 billionaires have flown the coop, and they haven't even passed the bill, and it may not even come up. But Larry Page of Google, Peter Thiel, a big mucky muck, gone. A Silicon Valley investment firm president just came out and said he knows 5 big billionaire families with hundreds of billions that are ready to walk out the door. Why? Because if able, people, business, capital, the works are going to kick you in the nuts and leave and go where they're respected. And guess where they're all going? Florida. A couple of them already in Miami. It's amazing to watch. Doofuses. Doofuses. They have all the evidence that these people, these billionaires, if a guy's worth $10 billion, has no interest in giving up 5% of that to a state that tried putting together high-speed rail, spent billions, and don't have high-speed rail. Lost billions trying to help the homeless, and they have more homeless than ever. But give us more. Well, guess what? They're going to be gone. And it's not even on the docket yet. Doofuses, imbeciles, morons. The mobility of billionaires and millionaires is exactly and precisely what makes these stupid ideas risky to a state. These people don't need to be in California. They've taken their businesses elsewhere on top. They've taken employees elsewhere on top. Florida's very happy already. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like I do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better, I promise. Stay well, be well. Until tomorrow, peace out. I'll be up 35,000 feet tonight. Good night. Bye-bye.